Guys, welcome back to the channel. Excuse my hair and all that. It's a lazy Sunday, but just wanted to give you a little update on the car. So I haven't really been working out too much. It's been cold and just, life. It's holidays. But so here's what I've done. One of the things we have done is we have gotten rid of the AC in the car because it wouldn't fit, the compressor and stuff wouldn't fit down there in this particular chassis. So this was the old condenser unit that I took all the guts out of to make it into a AC block off, because the non-AC cars have a plastic form shaped thing that looks a lot different than this. I can't find one, and like most Hondas of this age, they're hard to find. People don't want to part away with them, so I just took all the guts out of the AC one, and I will build a block off for that, but this will go back up into place and save me a lot of time trying to hunt down one of those parts. One of the things I can't stand when it comes to working on other people's cars or stuff I've had to work on or stuff you see is people tend to be cheap when it comes to spark plugs and spark plug wires. I prefer to use NGK plugs on everything. Domestic, German, Japanese, I always go NGK. Run on all my bikes, they're just a good plug. And then for the Japanese stuff, the NGK wires are the way to go. They're by far the best. They come pre-numbered. They're not too long. Like some cheap plug wires are typically way too long. But that's my thought and opinion on this. There's no point in cheaping out on the spark side of our engine, because that is highly important. One of the other things I can't stress is put anti-seize on your spark plugs, because steel and aluminum over time don't mix. The plugs I pulled out of here were actually kind of hard to get out. These are the new ones, but as you can see here, started to rust, and it's actually quite hard to get out. So I'm going to go ahead and get the plugs in. These are already pre-gapped, already grabbed them, and anti-seize. I like to get them started by hand first before you start reefing on them with a wrench. So you got to cross thread them, because if you cross thread one of these cylinder heads, you ain't fixing it without pulling the head. I like to go a little past snug. I went ahead and pre-numbered the cap so you know where things go. So 1, 3, 4, 2. I like doing this in general, just especially on V8 cars or V6 cars. Sometimes there's a lot of plug wires. It's hard to know where stuff goes. So now I'm going to go ahead and install the plug wires. I'm going to start out with farthest one here. Another thing I like about the MGK plugs, wires, is you get a nice solid seal. They fit everything real nice. So put this number 1, number 2, number 3. Here's number 4. And then, as I stated before, they fit real nice. It's not a bunch of extra like some cheap plug wires are. Now, I will go ahead and use some zip ties and make this a little bit cleaner right here, but overall it's a good fit. So, little update on the car. I know I just showed you a few other little things I've done, but I got the bigger brake master cylinder. It's an off an 85 Honda Prelude, the dual carb with 4-wheel disc brakes. It's a 7/8 bore. So this car has 1G Integra front brakes, which are larger than factory. So it requires a little bit more pressure, or volume I should say. The stock one will work, but it makes the pedal really, in my opinion, kind of mushy. I got the wiring all done except for this. I just have to run that into this relay here, but everything else is done. The harness we used was a Rye wire tucked harness. Very good quality. Highly recommend it for these cars. I got the map sensor, the TPS, and the idle air control valve on. Windshield wiper motor's back on. That's waiting on a few more parts. Oh, I got the fuel rail mounted, and then I will be getting a new fuel pressure regulator for it, and the injectors we have went with are the RDX, the Acura RDX 400, and I believe they're 410cc injectors. So it should do perfect with this. And then on the inside, we got all the junk cleaned out of the back, and then I got the wiring over there. The next thing I got to do is finish up the fuel lines and deal with the fuel pump, and then hook up. As you can see, there's a few wires over there that have to go to the gauge cluster and a few other sensors. But other than that, that's pretty much it. So this will be the end of my video. If you guys got any comments or anything, if you like what you see, subscribe to the page. Give me a thumbs up, and I will have something new for you shortly.